there is an academic, his name is Tad Stormer. It's spelled Tad, and Stormer's Stoermer. If you want to go look him up. I wanted to pull a clip from this video where he breaks everything down about why, the far right doesn't see a conflict in violating the Constitution while simultaneously trying to uphold it. He did a great job of explaining why. I would have pulled a clip, but he didn't have his shares on, and I gotta respect people. So I'm just gonna give you a quick little summary, and if you wanna go look it up, I encourage you, go check it out. Tad Stormer on TikTok. Go check it out, it's worth it. So basically, if I'm not mistaken, this guy, what is he? He's a historian, teacher, and author at the University of Southern Denmark and Johns Hopkins University. Okay, so what he basically said is that the far right, when they're talking about upholding the Constitution, they're not talking about the document that we have today. No. They're talking about the original Constitution, the one that has no amendments to it, baby. What they're saying is F the amendments, because that's not what the founders wanted. The founders created the document, and the document that they created was perfect. And all the amendments that have been added on since then, no. So when Steve Bannon tells this journalist that making sure that Donald Trump gets a third term, or doing what needs to be done to ensure that he gets that third term, when he says that doesn't violate the Constitution, that is what he means. Because he's talking about the OG Constitution before Franklin Delano Roosevelt, right? When you could be a president as many times as you want. Now, I want you to think about what other amendments have come since the framers created the Constitution? When all of this stuff started going down, and I'm listening to the platforms, I'm reading Project 2025, all that stuff. When all this stuff started going down, and they started, they were talking about Make America Great Again. We all were like, oh, they're trying to go back to the 1950s. When they say Make America Great Again, they're talking about the 1950s. Back when women were in the house and the husband was the breadwinner, yeah. Then when, time continued and the Republicans Trump started talking about going after birthright citizenship. I believe that's the 13th Amendment. When he started talking about ending birthright citizenship, meaning if you're born here, you are not a citizen unless both of your parents are citizens. Birthright citizenship means that if you're born here, you are a citizen. And they were talking about revoking it. And then I remembered that the 13th Amendment, how did it come to be? That was for freed Black Americans after the Civil War. There was a question of their citizenship. And so they added this amendment, I believe the 13th, I can't remember, but they added this amendment, the Birthright Citizenship Amendment, to ensure that Black Americans who had just been freed from enslavement, that they would be citizens. So it was tied to the sovereignty of Black people in this country. And yes, it extended out to immigration as well. It did benefit immigrants as well. As usual, remember immigrants, when you come to this country, that you gotta thank Black Americans for that. And so that's when the light bulb went off. I said, oh, so if they're trying to revoke birthright citizenship and it's tied to Black people's citizenship in this country, then that's telling me that they're not trying to go back to 1950. They're trying to go back to before 1865, AKA the Civil War. And what was going on before the Civil War? Slavery. But then after listening to this professor's analysis of how the extreme far right perceives the Constitution, and that they believe that the original document is all that matters, screw all of the amendments, now I realize what's really going on here, guys. These motherfuckers are trying to go back to 1776. And I want you to think about what this country was like in 1776. Women didn't have the right to vote. Black people were enslaved. People were out here marrying children. Because that's another thing they're trying to do, is lower the marriage age. People were out here getting paid, not even slave wage. They're getting paid pennies to work out here. People being forced to work 12, 13, 15-hour shifts. Just think about what this country was like in 1776. Who's gonna benefit from that if we go back to that? Only white men. So if you're not a white man, they don't give a damn about you. These right-leaning people, they don't give a damn about you. They only care about white men, and not even just white men, rich white men, but especially white men. And it's interesting because I noticed a lot of these, right-wing people online, a lot of them will be wearing these like 1776 shirts and stuff, 1776 hats. And now it's all making sense.